Okay, good afternoon class. So today we're looking at the grade 11 cycle test 3 of this year. Hello school. People, this is what I expected you to have written, not what you have written. Okay. So let's go through the memo. You didn't know there's something I haven't taught you. Of course, if it's something I haven't taught you, I must give you the marks for it. Okay, but it looks like I haven't taught you much. Okay. Right, the paper was for 1 hour, 50 marks. Let's go. We started off with 3 graphs. So the graph of f of x equal to negative 3 sine 2x, as you can see the graph first goes down then up, with the period of course being 180. But the graph is drawn between a period of negative 90 and 180. So f of x is equal to negative 3 sine 2x. Okay? I'm going to move this up a bit and reduce it. Right. Question says, write down the period of f. People, what's the period of a graph? Time taken to complete one full cycle. Not so. So what is the period of this graph? It's 180 degrees. You can see from start, minimum, neutral, maximum, end. So it's in 180 degrees. 1.1.2. 1.1.2. Write down the amplitude of f. As you can see, from neutral to the maximum, the amplitude is 3. 1.1.3. Question 1.1.3. You're asked to sketch the graph of g of x equals negative 3 tan x for x is an element of negative 92, 180. People, that simply means the given what's the name here? Okay, the given domain here. So for your tan graph, remember that that's what your tan graph normally looks like. That is negative 90 and this is normally 90. The graph does this. That's a tan graph. This is normally 45 and 1. Okay. But because of the negative here, the graph is going to be inverted. So instead of 45 and 1, it's going to be 45 and minus 3. So it's going to do that. 45 and minus 3. And 3 of course. We have asymptotes remaining at 90 and negative 90. Negative 90 and 90. This is your asymptote. Okay? You know the graph is going to come close but doesn't touch. There is the one. Now of course you must repeat the graph. So as you can see it's coming from a maximum. It's going to go through here. And 180. So that's what the graph is going to do. And this is the graph of g of x. Okay. Then the question says in question 1.1.4, determine the value of the values for x for which f of x times g of x has to be greater than or equal to 0, x is greater than negative 90, but less than 90. People, this means to say this answer must only be within that range. They're only looking for the answer in that range. So if you look at negative 90, there is negative 90. Okay, here is negative 90 and 90 is here. So I'm just going to look from there to there. That's all I'm looking at. Okay? So they say determine the value of the values of x for which f of x times, so 1.1.4, where f of x times g of x must be greater than or equal to 0. People, under what condition when I multiply two numbers is it positive? Both positive or both is negative. So if you look at this graph from negative 90, what do you notice? Both is? It's going through this, no? Negative 45. Both is? No, both is positive. It's above the x-axis. Can you see both is positive? How do we know it's positive? If it's above this line. The y is equal to 0 or the x-axis. Alright, so what do we notice here? Both is negative. So from negative 90 to 90, it satisfies this condition. Not so? In other words, x is greater than negative 90, but less than 90. But you say, hang on, there's an equal sign. Is the graph equal at negative 90? No, it's an asymptote, so I can't include that. Are they equal at 90? No, asymptote. So that is your solution. X has to be greater than negative 90, but less than 90. Okay, and at 0, it's equal to 0 anyway. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Here we are told that a trigonometric function h of x equal to a sine x bx plus c has the following features. The period is 180. The period is 120. How do we normally calculate period? For sine it's going to be 360 over b. Not so. And that is going to be in this case 120. Cross multiply, so I get 120. B is equal to 360. So B works out to be 3. Okay? In the range. So the range is directly affected with the amplitude. Okay? So that graph is going to, the sine graph does that. With a range of y is equal to 2 or y is equal to minus 2. Minus 6. Sorry. People, the graph could have done that as well. Oops. There's a cubic function, but the graph could have done that as well. Between y is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 6. Either or, no? So if a is negative, it's going to look like this. So if a is negative, it's going to look like that. It's going to come down then up. If a is positive, it's going to look like this. Okay? So we know that the distance between these graphs is 2 to minus 6 is 8. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So this a value is equal to, it could be plus or minus 4. Okay? Then you say the coordinates of the maximum point is. Okay, so we could have actually calculated what's the name first. Okay, so we have y is equal to a sine 3x. I'm just checking if I can do it without doing this first, which is c. So we'll substitute 90 and 2. So this 2 is equal to a sine 3 times 90 plus c. Oh, but it's going to tell us about the shift on the graph as well. Normally, if this is your neutral here, okay, for the sine graph, the graph is going to do that. It's your sine graph, not so. Then this would have been 4 and minus 4. However, this is now at minus 6. So what does that mean? That means you say this graph came 2 units down. Can you see that? So the graph came 2 units down, that's why your C value is going to be minus 2. I could have actually calculated that first. C value of minus 2. And then with this in mind now. Okay, we now say my equation is therefore y is equal to a sine 3x minus 2. Now it has a maximum point at 90 and 2. So you substitute 90 and 2. We got 2 is equal to a sine 3 times 90 minus 2. So this is sine of 270, so you take it over. So 4 is equal to a sine 270. Now we know from the sine graph, sine of 270 is minus 1. Okay? Sine of 270 is negative 1. So I divide by negative 1 both sides. That cancels. So a is negative 4. Here's your a, b, and your c value. Again, I didn't need to have drawn that maximum first and minimum, or just these two graphs.
So,
Yes?
how do you know that C is negative 2?
How do you know that c is negative 2? Because if we look at this graph here, you agree it's a sine graph.
Yes.
Right. So if you're looking at the sine graph, that's a basic sine x graph. No? So if that is 1, then that's 1 and minus 1. Right? But what do we see here now? This has a maximum of negative 6 and a minimum of 2. So that has a distance of 8. So that means you say this has to be 4 and minus 1. Can you see that? Now, if you're going to take this graph, and this one has a minimum value of minus 4. But what the value is of y does this has a minimum of? At minus 6. So what happens? How do I get from minus 4 to minus 6? Shift the graph 2 units down. That's why the c value is your horizontal shift up and down. Or if you're looking at the 2, if that is 4, and I'm going to 2, how do I get from 4 to 2? Shift 2 units down anyway. So it's either you're looking at the minus 6 or you're looking at the 2. That will tell you the shift of the graph. Okay? Any other confusion here? Yes, Michael? Sorry? Why did I divide by negative 1? Because if we look at sine of 270, you see as what is sine of 270? Sine of 270? Oops. Sine of 270 is negative, right? Sine 27 negative. That's why I divided that by negative. Anything else? Huh? The full paper and memo can be found in the description box below. Number 2. Here we are given p of x is equal to x squared plus x minus 12 and c of x is equal to negative 3x minus 12. The question says sketch B and C are the same system of axes. The first time in my life I can remember that all of you did not work out the turning point of the graph. You guys didn't work out the turning point. How can you not work out the turning point? Let's go with B. How do we calculate B of x? You work out the shape of the graph x. So B of x equal to x squared plus x minus 12. So we say firstly the graph is smiling. Number 2, x-intercept, what do? We let y equal 0. 0 is equal to x squared plus x minus 12. X and x, 4 and 3, plus and minus. So x is minus 4, or x is 3. Y-intercept, what do you do for y-intercept? Let x equal to 0. So b of 0 is equal to negative 12. Now we go. Axis of symmetry. What do you do for axis of symmetry? Minus b over 2a, which is negative 1 over 2 times 1, which is negative half. Okay, remember that's your A, B, and this your C. we sub negative a half into b of x. So b of negative a half is equal to negative a half squared plus negative a half minus 12. I think it's negative 12 and 1 over 8. It's negative 1 over 4. Half. So half squared plus negative half minus 12. Negative 12 and a quarter. So the turning point's coordinate is negative 12 and negative half and negative 12 and a quarter. This is enough information to draw a graph. Okay. So we got x is 3, x is negative 4. You can see this can't be the asymptote, the axisymmetry. Axisymmetry happens midway between the x-intercept, so x equal to minus a half, which is this value there. And on that it's turning at minus a half and negative 12 and a quarter. So from the turning point I draw. The 3 over bit as I draw. This is the graph of reach. Crazy how easily you guys forget, eh? What we do here after? We work out our C of x. What's the equation of C of x? Sorry? Minus 3x minus 12. So x intercept, what we do? We let y equal to 0. 0 is equal to negative 3x minus 12. 3x equal to negative 12, x is negative 4. Which is that point there. Y intercept. What do you do for y intercept? X equal to 0. So C of 0 is negative 3 times 0 minus 12, which is negative 12. That point there. So remember that? That is the graph of C of x. Okay. Any confusion there? Huh? The next question.
Apologies for the interruption. Shanika Griffiths.
You have been told solve for A if B of 2 is equal to 6 over C of A. People, what is B of x? That story. So B of 2, wherever I see x capital 2. So 2 squared plus 2 minus 12 is equal to C of A. So wherever I see x capital A. So it's 6 over negative 3a minus 12. Simple. So, what is 2 squared? 4. Plus 2, 6 minus 12, negative 6. Over 1 is equal to 6 over negative 3a minus 12. In pursuit of calculating x, I cross multiply. So it's negative 6 into negative 3x minus 12 is equal to 6. Divided by negative 3, negative 6 both sides. So therefore, negative 3x minus 12 is equal to negative 1. Negative 12 over the equal sign gives us negative 3x equals negative 1 plus 12, which is 11. How do I get x on his own? Divided by negative 3 both sides. So that in B there my goal. You get full marks for your test. A. A. They may have changed. A. A. Okay. Should be an A. Any confusion there? No? Sketch below is a graph of 2x minus 2 to the x minus 4 for x is an element of negative 2 to 4. Note that this is a block bracket, which means to say inclusive of negative 2, and a curve bracket, which means to say exclusive of 4. If I have to write this as an inequality, we would have read x is greater than or equal to negative 2, but less than 4. Okay, this is just another way of writing. A and B are x and y intercepts of f. You see here, that is why that is a closed circle, because that's inclusive of negative 2. That's an open circle, which is 4. First things first. The question says, write down the asymptote of f. What's the asymptote of f? Y is equal to negative 4. Determine the coordinates of B. What is B? Sorry? X intercept. What do you do for x intercept? Is y equal to 0. Because 0 is equal to 2x minus 4. You take it over the equal sign, so 2x is equal to 2 squared. 4 is equals to 2 squared. Not so. So therefore x is equal to 2. B's coordinate 2 and 0. Put the 2 here. 2.2.3. We have said determine the equation of K. A straight line passing through A and B. People, what is A? Do we have the coordinates of A? At this point we don't. But what is A? Y intercept. What do we do for y intercept? Let x equal to 0. So you say f of 0 is going to be 2 to the 0 minus 4. Your answer of negative 3. Okay, because anything to the power 0 is 1. So A is 0 and negative 3. And B is 2 and 0. Okay, so the gradient of AB is going to be 0 minus minus 3. And 2 minus 0, which is 3 over 2. So y is equal to 3 over 2x. Do we have your y-intercept value? Yes. 0 and minus 3. So that has to be minus 3. Okay. Determine the equation of K, the straight line passing through A and B. Okay, we just calculate the vertical distance between K and F. Now remember, this was K of X here. Not so, because here we are told determine the equation of K of X. So now we must calculate the vertical distance between K and F at x equal to 1. But now x equal to 1 will lie here somewhere. Not so, so that is 2, 0, then 1 is here. A very short distance. Not so. How do we calculate the distance between two graphs? The top graph minus bottom graph, so vertical distance. Which graph is on top? The k of x. So k of 1 minus, what's at the bottom? F of x, f of 1. I could have said k of x minus f of x if I wanted. So now it gives me k, if I say x up to 1. So 3 over 2 times 1 minus 3, that's negative 1.5 minus f of x. If I say x up to 1, so it's going to be 2 to the 1 minus 4. There's no 2 to the 1 is 2 minus 4 is minus 2 plus 2. So negative 1.5 plus 2 is a half. The vertical distance is half. Otherwise, we could have used the calculator. It will be 3 over 2. Three over 2 times 1 minus 3 minus open brackets 2 to the exponent 1 minus 4 gives you a half. That vertical distance is half. Okay. 2.5. Okay, 2.5. So question 2.5 says, determine the average gradient between f of determine the average gradient of f between x is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to 0. So 2.2.5. What I do is I substitute negative 2, so I can say your average gradient is equal to f of b minus f of a over b minus a. Okay, so it's in other words, f of minus 2 minus f of 0 over minus 2 minus 0. If I substitute minus 2 into f, I'm going to get 2 to the minus 2 minus 4 minus f of 0. If I see x up to the 0 now, which is going to give you 2 to the 0 minus 4. Or I could have just put it in minus 3. It's the same thing. And this is all over negative 2. So if I just go here and interpret what was said now, x is minus 2 from there till there. We're going to look at the gradient or the increase or the slope of the graph between those 2 points. Okay. Let's put that in the calculator. It's going to be 2 to the exponent negative 2 minus 4 minus 2 to the 0. Didn't we do average gradient calculation before? Huh? We did, yes. The answer is 3 over 8. The ask you to interpret that, what would it be? The graph is increasing at the rate of 3 over 8. Okay. 2.2.6. Determine the range. People, what is the range of f of x as it stands here? What's the range of f? Y must be greater than negative. Huh? Y must be greater than negative 4. That's the range of f of x. No? But because the graph is cut here, can you see it? The graph is actually cut here. Well, the graph is restricted. Let's even take all of this out. Okay. Okay, so the graph starts at negative 2 and goes to 4 and some value. This is 4 and I put 4 into f of x. What's the equation of f of x? So it's going to be 2 to the x minus 4. So it's going to be 4. 2 to the 4 is 16 minus 4 is 12, no? So it's 4 and 12. So what is the range of f of x? Range of f of x as it stands. It's going from negative. Okay, negative 2 gives you an answer of negative 15 over 4, I think it was. 2 to the negative 2 minus 4. Minus 15 over 4. Okay. So the range of f of x as it stands, we always read from negative to positive. Y must be greater than negative 15 over 4 but less than 12. Can it be equal at negative 2? At negative 15 over 4? Yes, but not equal at 12. Not so. So what happens to f of x here? The graph is shifting 4 units. 4 units. Up. This is plus 4. So if the graph moves 4 units up, therefore the range is going to of f of x plus 4 is going to be, that moves 4 units up, so negative 15 over 4 plus 4. So they give you a quarter. So y is greater than equal to a quarter. And if this moves 4 units up, it goes to 16. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the last question. Question 3, our probability question. The probability that it will snow on Drakensberg Mountains in June is 5%. So, in the first case, will snow or not snow? Snow is 5% and not snow is 0.05. That's 5%. Or 0.95. That is 95%. When it snows on the mountain, the probability that the minimum temperature in Central Africa will drop below 0 degrees is 72%. So drop below 0 degrees. So when it snows on the mountain, the probability that the minimum temperature in Central Africa will drop is 72%. So what is the probability that it will not drop? 18%. Or is it 28? 28. If it does not snow, it does not snow on the mountains, the probability that the minimum temperature in Central Africa will drop below 0 degrees is 35%. So 0.35. So what's the chance that it will not drop below 35%? 0.65. Not so. So let's go. There's your tree diagram, clearly indicating the probabilities associated with each branch. That is what they are talking about. Okay? 3.1.3. That's right, 3.1.2. Calculate the probability that the temperature in Central Africa will not drop to below 0 degrees in July 2024, in June 2024. Okay. So in other words, you must go take that root or that thing. Not so. So the probability is simply 0,05 multiplied by 0,28 plus 0,95 times 0,65. 0,05 multiplied by 0,28 plus 0,95 multiplied by 0,65. The answer (63,15%) or 0,6315. Either or would give you that 3 full marks. Okay. And the last question was the Venn diagram in a survey done amongst 80 learners. So of course we'll have 80 there. There's a sample space. Okay. We are then told that 52 learners like rugby. So we got rugby, 52 learners. 42 likes volleyball. 5 likes chess only. So 5 likes chess only. 14 likes rugby and volleyball but not chess. Rugby, volleyball but not chess. 5. 14. Sorry about that. Thank you. Should be 14 and not 5. 12 like rugby and chess but not volleyball. 12 is there. 15 likes volleyball, chess but not rugby. 15. X likes all 3 types of sports. 3 learners did not like any of the sports under the consideration. Through a Venn diagram, which we just did. So, for the missing values on the Venn diagram, let's fill this in. So, we know that the empty volleyball, or volleyball only, plus 15 plus x plus 14 is equal to 42. The empty volleyball will be 42 minus 14, which is 30, minus 15 is 15 minus x. Okay? So the empty rugby only will be 14 plus 12 plus x equals 52. The empty rugby only would be 52 minus 12 is 40, 30, 26 minus 6. That's correct? It's 52 minus 14 minus 12. Be 26 minus x, which is correct. 42 minus 15 minus 14.
30.
Sorry?
30 minus
13, not 15. I didn't get 15. Oh, I see that was 10. Yeah. Okay, no mistake here. So that's going to be, how much was it? 13. 13 minus x. And then 26 minus x is correct. Right. Now the question says, show that x equal to 8. So what do I have to do here? You know that all these parts adds up to 80. Not so. 3.2.2. So this is all of these adds up to 52 plus 13 minus x plus 15 plus 5 plus 3 is equal to 80. So minus x equal to 80 minus 52 minus 13 minus 15 minus 5 minus 3 to negative 8. So x equal to 8. Which makes this 8. 13 minus 8 is 5. Well, minus 8 there is going to give you 80. Is that correct? Okay, yes? Okay, relax. I know. I made a mistake here somewhere. So if you got it right, it should get you right. Don't worry. Yeah. Okay, so .2.3. How many learners like rugby only? How many people like rugby only? 18 out of? Okay, they didn't ask the probability. So it's 18. Then the last question says, calculate the probability that the learner chosen at random likes at least 2 different sports. 3.2.4. So what is going to be considered? 8, 15, 8, sorry, 5, 8, 15, 14, and 12. That's all over 80. And not 5, no? At least 2, it can be 2 or 3 in this case. So it's going to be 8 plus 15 plus 14 plus 12. That gives us 8 plus 15 plus 14 plus 12 all over 80. You're 49 over 80. Okay. Last question. The bonus question. A quadratic equation which is x squared plus ax plus b is equal to 0 has equal roots. What is the value of? People, if roots are equal, what do we know? Delta is equal to 0. So what is delta in this case? B squared minus 4ac. Your b value of course is a, so it's a squared minus 4. Your a value is 1 and your c is b. So it's a squared minus 4b. 4 equal roots. Delta is equal to 0. So in other words, a squared minus 4b is equal to 0. They want to know, we take it over the equal sign, so I get a squared is equal to 4b. As you can see, it's b over a squared. B over a squared. And of course I'm going to divide both sides by 4 as well to get b over a squared over 0. Okay? So that cancels. So B over A squared, of course, equal to A squares cancel. A quarter. Makes the answer E. The full question paper and memo can be found in the description box below. Okay, if there's a mistake on your marking, you can bring it to me now. Okay.